Love you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to all of you lovely people out there. Make sure as you come in, I forgot to clean my glasses this morning. As you come in, let me know where you're coming in from. I got to be able to read the screen. Got a pretty cool show for you today. Hope everyone is doing well, that you had an amazing, magical week. I know we did at the Built to Exit office with all of us, our entire staff, everybody cranking right along. Get some things moved along here. All right. I think we are just about ready to go. Give everybody a couple more minutes to pile in on all of the different platforms. Thank you for joining me from wherever you are, whatever platform you've decided to join us on. Thank you. The feedback that we've been getting has been fairly amazing. This new format, the way that we're handling some of these shows, my production team putting together the slides like they are, it is having a very good effect and impact is what we are hearing. And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to make sure that that was one of the big outcomes, is that this information is helping you and you're able to put it to work in your own business so that it structures all your psychology. Good to see everybody. I see you piling in. Hey, Christopher, Julie, and Bryce coming in from Maine. Great to see everybody. Okay. Well, I think we're about ready to get started. Okay. Let us get rolling. Good morning, or whatever time you happen to be watching this. If you are live with us, we are live 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every single Saturday. So if you join us live, we get your comments. I can answer questions, etc., etc. If you're watching this on replay, somebody shared it with you, welcome to the family. We feel like, it's a little bit family and it's a little bit championship team. And that's kind of how I feel about it. The Built to Exit community. For those of you that are kind of new, we've been around. We've been doing this for a long time. I started buying my own businesses long ago. The reason why we're actually here is because, like most business owners, I was brought up in a situation we were really poor. Like really poor. I was having a great conversation with one of my friends from when we were younger this week, and it was just crazy how broke we were. And and so a lot of us come from that situation. There's not a lot of wealth that makes it 3, 4, 5 generations down the line. And a lot of you that are watching me, you're first generation. You might be second generation with with the idea that you're going to take your business to the next level. But most of the people that are with me, no silver spoons, and a lot of mommy issues and daddy issues. So if that happens to be you, welcome to what we originally were called was misfits. So welcome to the show. And and with that, it sort of creates a different drive in us. My favorite line recently, Mark Andreessen, who's, if you don't follow him, he's an amazing tech guy, really a futurist, somebody who's very, very smart, said that if you are an entrepreneur, you can't not be one. Right? I liken back. I find our DNA comes from long ago with the merchants. I don't think that there's anything good in this world that we live, the house, the air conditioning, the light, all of those things. I don't think there's anything in that helps this world and that has improved quality of life, extended the quantity of life, allowed for there to be 8 billion people on the planet that are relatively well sustained. That doesn't happen without entrepreneurs. That doesn't happen without going back to our forefathers, foremothers of merchants. It's innovation. We are rewarded for that innovation in the sense that we fall in love with somebody else's outcome. We say, oh, I wonder if one person would like the inside of their house to be cooled by anything other than just, the windows being open or the windows being closed. Maybe we could create an environment. In that environment, it keeps more people alive, so they're not dying of freezing, and they're not dying of heat. Like, I wonder if one person like that, if I could scale that into a town or a city or whatever it is. That's how we think. That's how we think. And so this show was originally started, around the idea of speaking out against bullies in this world. Like, those of you that have been with me a long time know that I'm a huge advocate for against child trafficking, to the point my wife and I have been doing rescues and funding things for a while. Domestic violence, feeding people, all of those things, and that's the heart, I believe, of who you are as an entrepreneur. My family, and our championship team. That's kind of what we're building here. We talk about things that are super important, and things that you can apply immediately, takeaways that you can apply immediately into your business to start thinking a different way. And more and more, when we made this shift away from advocacy of directly, because again, one of the things that we figured out was most of the business owners in this world, if they had more money, and as they get more money, they become more charitable. That whatever, it doesn't have to be trafficking or domestic violence or whatever, but the more business owners that we help, we've noticed that those businesses donate more, whether could be pets, could be veterans, could be whatever thing that you are passionate about. When you have more money in the heart, and it's poured into the heart of the SME community, small and medium-sized enterprises, easing suffering happens. More charities get more money. I love this community for so many reasons, that being sort of chief amongst them. So that's what we talk about. The core premise for you to get, if this is one of the first times that you're watching, core premise is everybody exits how matters. And what that means is that, I heard it differently this week, actually. What I normally say, I'll go to some of these funerals and people that have passed, and there's nothing in that coffin with them, certainly not their business. That what they've left behind, your business is either a wealth generator that frees you, or it is a legacy transfer to keep your family free after and when something happens to you. And so the everybody exits how matters is a game changer. I see legitimate entire shifts in human beings. We're talking on Zoom, we're talking in person, whether I'm on stage talking to people, I see this shift. It's like, when the sun comes up, people's faces change when this sinks in, and you go, oh, so maybe that's the missing piece. It's like we're all playing this game called business, and nobody sat us down and said, here's the outcome. Like when you pick up Monopoly, or you pick up, Jenga, or you pick up whatever, what do? You pick up the instructions and you go, what is the outcome? And how do I win this game? Doesn't exist in business, really, right? What it hasn't been written. It's for us to, we pick up and we open this thing and we start a business, and then we look around us, and for the most part, we're modeling people in business who have never owned a business, i.e. the guru crew. Okay. Or B, we're modeling a business that is quickly and definitively on its way out of business. Not good modeling. It would be like opening Monopoly and having the instruction manual for football. Okay. Or opening the game of checkers and it's the instructions to chess. It doesn't work. And so really more than anything, Built to Exit has become, I want to build the instruction manual for those of us that are family. And if you can afford it, great, then we can help you to accelerate. We can help you optimize. We can help you prepare for exit. We can actually help you sell your business with our brokerage. We can, we can do a lot of things with you and for you, but at the bare minimum, if you don't have that, you have these podcasts for me to talk directly to you so that you can educate yourself. That sunshine came out, it shined on your face, it warmed you up, and you went, oh my God, I've been playing this game for without knowing that everybody exits how matters. So I need to be really preparing my business for whatever that exit is, either succession or a sale to somebody else. And oh my gosh, I've been listening to gurus who really never owned a business before, or I've been following somebody on Instagram that is fast and quickly on their way out of business because 95% of businesses don't see their 10th birthday. I want to seek out and find and learn from those that are good at the 5%. Caveat is most people that are good or are in that 5% are not out teaching. I just so happen to, like, my wife and I, we're constantly doing business. We are in 3 or 4 different verticals. We're deep into AI. We're, in the cannabis space. We're in medical. We're buying, we're selling. We're in the game that you all are playing, the one that we talk about. We're in it. It's not something we did. We got lucky. We had one sale, maybe 20 years ago. And a sale that, by the way, most people, when they're saying, oh, I sold my company for 100 million, maybe, well, yeah, maybe you were $110 million in debt. So there's a lot of nuance and detail that you want to find out about those things. My point is nothing more than to say we're in the game with you. Okay. We're playing these games. We're, having to adjust because of tariffs. We're having to adjust because of AI. We're having to, look at all of our different platforms, what's coming in the future, etc. The core component is everybody exits. You got to figure out and be very discerning about who you learn from. I very often, I point to when you are looking to learn from somebody or go into business with them, make sure you go to their LinkedIn. This is also a call for you if you have a good business and you've got a good history to go to your LinkedIn and get it cleaned up in a couple of areas. Number one, make sure that you have your recommendations. Okay. If you are doing due diligence, look at somebody's recommendations. That's the only place that I know that can't be faked. Okay. It's you can see the picture of the person. You can reach out to them privately. You can have conversations. You can do your due diligence on the people that you're looking to do business with. Now, on the flip side of that, you as a business owner need to get your recommendations from people that that have utilized your services and products in the service and in the past, so that you have a good reference. You can send people, say, hey, go to my LinkedIn, right? It does a lot of work for you on the credibility side. Now, here on LinkedIn, I'm going to say one more thing before we start getting into the content today on LinkedIn, is that if there are none, or they're from 10 years ago, or maybe it's from their mother or cousin or brother or something like that, just all it does is say dig deeper. It doesn't say eliminate them, because they could not have run into the idea that you should have recommendations and whatnot, but it just means do your due diligence, dig deeper, and make sure that you're not falling for the very, very good marketing that exists these days. They have your brain dialed. They're learning from the data of Amazon, knowing that you're going to order, I don't know, a coat, next spring, and you've only ordered like black or purple. And, it's like, they're getting really, really good at knowing how to convince you and to head fake you into making decisions. So just take that back, right? Take that back, and know and understand that if somebody has a series of things on LinkedIn, how difficult it is. You're going to find this out if you haven't done this. How difficult it is to get somebody that you actually have helped and actually did do what you said you were going to do, to get them to take a break out of their day to go to LinkedIn and put some kind of words about you. If there's a bunch of negative stuff on the internet about somebody, usually there's a whole other wave of negative behind it. And just like that on LinkedIn, if there's a bunch of good stuff on there about them on LinkedIn, there's probably another wave of people behind it. I can tell you, I've got somebody that told me that I put $8 million in their pocket because of what we helped them do. I said, can you put that on LinkedIn? That conversation's been going on a couple years now. I had a guy say, hey, Jason, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. We went from 15 million to 55 million because of the help that you gave us. I was like, could you go put that on LinkedIn? That's a more recent one. That's more like 6 or 7 months ago, but it's still taking the time. I got pulled aside when I was in Maui by somebody that said, hey, we sold the business. We did really, really well in front of my kids, and everything was a proud moment. But I said, hey, can you go to my LinkedIn? That was, I don't know, 5 years ago. So my point is that just because you ask people doesn't mean that they're going to put it, but that's a really, really great place for you to do your due diligence. That is where true business owners are. The saying is that the people that sign the front of the check are on LinkedIn, and the people that sign the back of the check are on Instagram. I don't know how true that is. It seems to be fairly accurate. But when you're doing business, this is important for you. Okay. So, let's see. Okay. As a business owner, the last thing before I get into the content here is, as a business owner, once you realize that you want to be educated by the 5%, everybody exits how matters. That sunshine comes out, it pours down on you. You feel really warm, and you go, oh, okay. I've been trying to impress people on Instagram. I've been trying to buy these expensive cars. Every time I make a little extra money, I upgrade my life, which means that I'm just broke at a higher level. It starts to shift your concentration and your focus. Next week, I'm going to be doing a show called FU Money. Okay. Next week. And it's going to be called, and it's not the FU. It was inspired by John Goodman. If you guys get a chance this week to get prepared for next week's show, there was a show, I think it's called The Gamblers, with John Goodman and Mark Wahlberg. And you just put in John Goodman FU Money in YouTube, and you'll see the clip that inspired me wanting to do that show. Okay. I look at FU Money like free you money. And that's about a little teaser for what we're going to be talking about next week. But that's the point, right? That's the point. It shifts the target from trying to impress people who never liked you and never will like you, that are gossiping behind your back, and trying to impress those people, as opposed to actually taking this amazing opportunity called owning a business and focusing in on what do the 5% do. Business is hard. It's not for everybody. The results that people get, blah, 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 blah. It's difficult. Like, this is not easy, but you didn't sign up for something to be easy. You signed up to have destiny and control in your own hands, for you to be able to change your own stars, for you to be able to craft your own life without begging somebody else that you went to work for a raise, or for them to tell you how much you're worth, or for them to tell you when you could or could not be sick, or when you could or could not spend time with your family. The level of your freedom is dependent upon your wages. That's not for you. And so you'd rather die broke. And this is what I love about you and what I love about my community. You'd rather die broke on your own terms than you would to be moderately okay under the auspices of working for somebody else. So that's us. There's no getting around it. So just deal with it and optimize your life based around it. So here's what we do here. I find very interesting deals that I come across, and I'm either involved in them, I know the people, or historically it was something that inspires me to dig in and learn more about these kinds of deals so that I can apply the lessons from very, very smart people, from companies that have been around for hundreds of years, strategies that they don't teach in school, strategies that you can't pick up unless you're in those rooms, the things that make deals happen. I'm fascinated by them. And so every week we break down some kind of a deal. Next week may be a little bit different to that, but we break some kind of a deal so you can see the things that we're talking about applied in real life and what those net results are, so that you can adjust your thinking and your behaviors and your decisions. I don't care what size of a business that you have right now. If there's, if it's a marketplace and, there's a billion to 300 billion, we found a brand new marketplace that we're going to start playing in that shocked me that there's 300 billion and it's wildly fractured. And and I'll talk about that a little bit later, but that's the thing. Those are the things that you want to learn. If you could do it with your business and you can get that systemized, you can do it again with another business, right? You can come and work with us. We need certified strategists more than ever because what we do and how we do it is becoming more and more known, and investors and PE firms and investment bankers and people that are actually helping, wealth advisors are bringing people to us to say, hey, you can go to B2X and these guys can help you optimize your exit, and your systems and your profitability. More and more people are coming to us. So if you if you are a consultant, you want to come learn how we do it, we would love to have you. That's another story for another day. I'm notorious for going on and on because I love what I do. I had a great conversation with a buddy of mine. I don't know if he's watching today or not, but Danny Torres, great health advocate for anybody if you look him up. But he said something that I know is true. He's like, Jason, you absolutely love business. He said it emanates, and this is a guy that's known me for, I don't know, 10 plus years at this point in time. And he's right. I love what I'm doing. I enjoy these shows. If nobody ever watched it, I think I would still do these shows because it teaches me something new, and I'm damn good at what I do, but it teaches me something new. And they say, if you want to know something really deeply, then you turn around and you teach it. So I love doing this so much. And if you take what you learn and apply it into your own business, it elevates your thinking, right? Going down the path of, I don't know, marketing and sales, marketing and customer service is a very important part of your business. I don't know, your business should be focused around the idea that you solve somebody's problem better than anybody else in your industry. And if that's not the case, that's where you start doing that, because then the natural outpour of that is somebody will tell you, we have not spent a dime on marketing for Anton J, for Built to Exit, for anything that we do. We've not spent a dime. And here we are, I don't know, 12, 14, 15 years later, with a great reputation and zero marketing dollars. It's why, because when somebody gets referred to us, we do a great effing job for them, right? We fall in love with their outcome, and no deal is the same, no matter what they tell you. Keith Cunningham, who's a Rich Dad and the Rich Dad Poor Dad books, told me something very valuable long ago, that business is not a bathrobe. One size does not fit all. So if you don't want to be treated like everybody else, if you don't want to be treated like the one size fits all, here's the place for you to be, but you've got to get specific about your outcome. Okay. Everybody exits, how matters. You've got to craft in your mind, at least, what that destination is. And then we can have a conversation, right? Then you can apply these lessons that we're teaching week after week to your business immediately. So let's get started. Cool. Keurig Dr Pepper, KDP, is looking to buy JDE Peet's Coffee Company. I believe at the time of this recording, I believe the deal's done. I'd have to check. I didn't check this morning. or recently, but there's so many lessons in why this is important. Okay. Peet's Coffee, if you're not familiar with it, Starbucks, we'll talk a little bit about how all of this stuff applies, but Peet's, I just want to give you, if you don't know who they are, it's a small coffee shop from Berkeley. And they went from a niche roaster to an $18 billion headline. We're going to talk about that. They started exiting or staging their exits long ago. Point being, I don't care what size you are. I don't care what industry you're in. I don't care what you're doing for a living as a business. If you've been running that business and you can point to or do research and say there's, how much money is available, you can start to stage now. Why? Because 95% of the people that are playing this game are going to be out of business because they're not focused on their exit. They're focused on what's happening today. They're focusing on the snake oil salesman. They're focused on the great big launch of somebody else's marketing and shit that steals their money and doesn't give them any value. And that person's rich. And now they're, $10,000, $20,000, $40,000 more broke. Okay. These people are serious, right? The companies that we're going to show you, they're serious because they realize that exits matter. Everybody exits how matters. So they're going to craft and custom tailor their own exit. That's what we're known for at Built to Exit. Okay. Built to Exit, custom tailored for you. No exit is the same. Okay. By the end of the show, we're going to give you the exit playbook like we always do so that you can copy it over. So the KDP merger between companies, they got a brand portfolio. You know who they are. They're Snapple. They're the Keurig. Obviously it's Keurig, the K cups that you get for your coffee. Panera. These are the types of brands. You can look them up and see all of the brands that they have, and what they do. So Peet's Coffee, JAB Holdings Company. It's a massive, massive European. And again, you'll dig into these people and every company, obviously these guys are German. Every company has a history that goes back a long time. The thing that I found cool about JAB is how long it's been around. Longevity. Like we said, the people that most companies go out of business, 50% are out in the first year. 95%, by the time 10 years rolls around, at 5 years, there's another huge drop off. These guys have been around for a long, long time. They're quiet. They're not loud. They're not out pounding their chest. They're not, DMing you about buying your business. They are deciding, and we're going to get into this, the things that you need to take away. So they decided a long time ago how they're going to grow, what their buy box is. And I did a show on buy box, and I'll talk a little bit about that next week as well. But the 2012 merger by JAB was a $977 million merger. They bought Peet's Coffee for $977 million. And then what were they doing? It was an acquisition. When I was reading through all the documents and the letters to the investors and all that kind of stuff, there was a comment in there that said that this was like a home office. Those of you who don't know what a home office is, it's, as you acquire wealth, you have a home office that protects your wealth and et cetera, et cetera. But it was like a home office with a caffeine addiction. So I thought that was kind of cute. And now they have exited. So now they've exited. They didn't just get bought once. So again, remember along the way, there's ways for you to look at mergers and acquisitions. There's ways for you to look at your business. And I know that some of the stuff that I'm talking about is a little bit elevated. I do that because I think that you're super smart. I don't want, I don't want to treat people ever like they're stupid or talk down to them. I think you're smart. But I also realize, because I get DMs, hey, Jason, you went a little bit above my head today because I'm just trying to get my food truck to a place where I can sell that to somebody, or have a chain of food trucks, or, you know, I've got this one roofing company and I want to get that first sale under my, yes, I understand that. And you may be going from where you are, $100,000 a year, you know, wherever you happen to find this video, you may be going from here and look down the road and go, wow, that's too big. This is too much. I don't understand. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Be very, very conscious of the idea that wherever you start, every one of these businesses that I talk about here, Peet's Coffee being ideal among them, started in somebody's head and then went through the process of growing from, you know, to 100,000 to a million to 5 million to 10 million, and then to an $18 billion deal. But it's strategic, and it's because they thought of that way ahead of time. They staged multiple exits. Your very first exit is going to be the company that you are running right now. I understand that, but if you look at this, you're going to learn some lessons, and then I give you some takeaways at the end of the show. All right. So JDE Peet staff 4,400. Those of you that know, I like to measure. Okay, I like to measure. If we're doing anything, I need to know the numbers behind it. When I got involved with child trafficking, I did the research. I found out that there's 10 million children that are either sex or labor trafficked. I wanted to impact that. That's the only way I could know whether I'm doing a good job. Every 11 minutes in somebody's home, there's a domestic violence occurrence. I wanted to make that 12, 15, 20 minutes. Every 4 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, somebody just dropped dead of starvation, not starvation related issues, starvation. So I need to extend that to 10 seconds, to 20 seconds, to know that I'm impacting, right? And so I got to know my numbers. You have to know your numbers. A lot of business owners are very charismatic. They know how to sell. They have great relationships. And the business that they do is because they deliver on what they say they're going to do. Next step, know your numbers. Know your numbers. And if you're a numbers person, grow a personality. Okay. Both it goes both ways. You got to get rid of a little personality if you're pure sales, and be a little bit more numbers and analytical. And if you are pure analytical and numbers, you got to grow a little bit of a personality, or have somebody that's the face of your business do so for you. 4,400 cups of coffee served per second. That is mind-boggling to me, right? Mind-boggling, as I have a cup of coffee. I'm not sure if this is Peet's or not, but we'll have to figure that part out. So, let's see here. Where are we going? So Keurig, KDP, 2024 sales, $15 billion. 29,400 employees, 4.6 year-over-year growth. Crazy. Okay. Keurig Dr Pepper, diversified beverage, coffee makers, US centric. JDE Peet's. This is a marriage. Okay. The marriage between these two, you see the value of them and the strategic fit. Peet's, JDE. It's distribution, it's pods, it's global brands, right? And on the Keurig side, machines, US beverage power. And then you look at what's happening and how they put it together, the split structure of it. Keurig Dr Pepper is reorganizing itself after the JDE Peet acquisition. That purchase being used as a trigger to split the company into two distinct publicly listed businesses, right? Global coffee, and a cash machine with all the different brands. Those are the two. It's getting split. Genius. Right? The deal's expected to be completed in the first half of 2026. So I'd be looking out for that. They're taking two powerhouses. They've gotten crystal clear. Now, what's the lesson here? Be crystal clear about who your customer is and what your product or service and who those people are that you're serving. This is a split into coffee lovers and brand lovers, right? You see, diversified coffee makers, JDP, the coffee play, global reach, multi-brand infrastructure, right? $18 billion purchase price, global scale, strategic fit, split into global coffee company and a beverage company. So why the split? Let's talk a little bit about the split, knowing and understanding what the split is about. Wall Street pays a premium when you tell a focused story. Pause, back to your business. The buyer of your business will pay a premium when you tell a focused story and the fundamentals are correct. What fundamentals are we talking about? We talk about relationship to customer. Relationship to customer. What's your monthly recurring revenue? What is your concentration risk on how many customers you have? Is it all in one or is it spread across hundreds? Your lifetime value. Do you know it? What's your revenue per employee? All of these things that you need to know. That's one box called relationship to customer. Because if I'm going to buy that business, I look at that and I go, is that predictable or is it all over the place? And is it dependent or focused in one place? There's a lot of things that the buyer of your business, which you should position your own mind for. If somebody's going to buy my business, and you are going to buy that business, you look at it and you go, if there's no predictability of revenue streams, is that something that I want to play with? Well, maybe it is if you have a way, you know that business and you have a way of attracting those customers. But for the most part, if they're going to do that, you're going to get a very low price. If they have to do all the work on the acquisition of your business, they're going to price that in and you're not going to get as much money. You're probably going to have to carry that as a debt for them. But that's, and then, so there's that, there's clarity of revenue, clarity of your numbers, having your numbers be very, very clear so that the story, your business speaks in a language, that language is numbers. You got to be able to tell that story. Number 3 is the company dependent on you? You have to have a management team in place. You have to have all that structure, right? And then do you have an exit plan and know your sell box and does it match up to your ideal buy box person? Those areas, now you craft the story. And that every time, the better you craft your story, the more on the multiple that you're going to get from the person who's offering you the offering to buy your business. Puts you in control. Okay. So why did KDP buy JDE Peet's instead of Starbucks? Starbucks, again, didn't fit their business model. It was too much money. Okay. It was too much money, too big to buy. KDP couldn't swallow Starbucks into their strategy without a massive, risky, debt heavy deal. They knew what they were looking for. The acquisition model, and anybody who's going to buy your business, they have what's called a buy box. All that means is they're telling the world exactly how and what they want to buy. How smart would it be? This is what I learned about custom tailored exits. Who am I custom tailoring it for? Custom tailoring so it meets my outcome, right? And your outcome. If you're the business owner, you want to custom tailor it for your outcome, but you're also custom tailoring it for the ideal person who can buy your business. Not this flood of idiots that went to a course on how to acquire businesses, no money down. Waste of time, damage to your business, damage to your brand. Don't go there. Buy from people who at least have a buy box and have they have the ability, the money, and the expertise to be able to acquire your business, right? So it was digestible. It fit their buy box. It could be acquired outright and for cash and debt without blowing up Keurig Dr Pepper's balance sheet. So the strategic fit, Starbucks, it's retail centric, right? JD Peet's is distribution first, which is exactly what KDP already plays. They already dominate pods. So owning Peet's and JDE brands feeds the ecosystem and increases control over what fills the pods and the shelves. So strategically, they can creep up on Starbucks and just take huge swaths through proper acquisitions to get closer to them without having to copy them or go directly head to head in the same way that Starbucks is winning their battles. Okay. The Starbucks licensing deal with Nestle in 2018. It was a $6.7 billion licensing deal with Nestle to sell Starbucks packaged coffees globally. Okay. They handled their grocery and their retail. So that was their answer to go back against this Peet's deal. The pure play for investors. Now this is where it gets interesting. This this group of people at JDE and KDP that are putting this deal together, I shake my head as I'm reading through the letters to the investors and the reports and some of the things that I could get my hands on. And it is incredible how intellectual, how non-emotional these people are, and how when they make a statement, they have their own team attack that statement to try to prove where it's wrong. This level of commitment to beating your own idea up, to understanding that no matter who you are in your business, that false sense of I know everything needs to be put to the side. You need to be incredibly humble and surround yourself with people who are incredibly smart and have no problem, not disrespectfully challenging you, but intellectually challenging the decisions that you're making. It's one of the things that blows me away with these companies at a super high level. It's what I've done in my life. If you've met my team, you know that they are crazy good and better than me in a lot of areas, but they have no problem challenging me on the decisions that I make. And I love it. It is like a breath of fresh air. If I was surrounded suddenly by everybody that told me yes and said, oh yeah, that's a great idea, I would get out of the game, because that's not where you want to be. So the pure play, and I say that because this pure play was a brilliant idea for them to split this into and instead of having a messy, put both of these things together, they split it into two, and they're very distinct in the two areas that they're going after, but still being owned and controlled and run by the same, CEO and CFO of one company, like split. Now they've got, they're building out two brands instead. So that investors really, really like that. And then the valuation arbitrage. Starbucks trades at a premium multiple because of brand dominance. So buying them would have come at a premium. JDE Peet's had been undervalued since its 2012 IPO, lagging behind Starbucks. So KDP could purchase the same product essentially at a much lower price and unlock the value by restructuring, storytelling. Sound familiar? Like the things that a turnaround business, or buying things at a discount. And that, by the way, is what people think of your business. They think that when they come and talk to you, if you have something that you built value, they feel like they're going to go in and they're going to have a conversation with you and buy an undervalued business, because you don't know, if you're not educated, right? Just like me. I'm not calling you uneducated. I'm saying the first time that I did it, first one's involuntary exit. I crashed 3 businesses. Second time I sold it, but I sold it to somebody who knew what they were doing. And so it was a dictated exit. I got my ass kicked in that deal because I didn't know what I was doing. They did. I didn't. Very simple story. If I had known me back then, or had been able to watch some of these videos, or, go through our gauntlet course, or, hire us, I would have known how to properly set across the table from people who buy businesses and acquire businesses for a living. I didn't. So they kicked my ass. Same thing's going to happen to you unless you educate yourself on how to sit across that table. Let's see. That's it on that particular subject. So could this challenge Starbucks? That's the whole premise. As I was looking through this, I'm like, is somebody going to be able to knock Starbucks off the top of their, their number one spot? And it looks like strategically, that's what these guys are trying to do. Maybe they get so big that they acquire it and they become just, it would, to me, again, it would be antitrust, go against antitrust laws, but who the hell is paying attention to that these days? Anyway, that's one of the reasons why I want to go to DC and handle this, because antitrust would make it a lot easier if we went and enforced just the laws that are on the books right now. Small and mid-sized business owners would be doing way better than we are right now, because you would break up that unholy alliance between big unethical business and our politicians. Needs to happen. That's a fight that I'm going to be taking on, in the next 4 or 5 years anyway. But today, In order to do that, I got to make you all a bunch of money so that we all band together and we can go with some strength and get some of these laws taken care of. So Starbucks is a lifestyle brand. It's not just a coffee. Peet's and JDE, they're strong regionally, but they don't carry the same sort of global premium value. Starbucks has direct contact. Think about this for a second. How many clients of yours do you have direct contact with daily? Starbucks has 100 million daily interactions with its customer base. I love that number, right? I love that number. Imagine like, and here's a great lesson for you that's kind of off book for what I'm talking about today. Most people, and you've heard me say this before, most people are using technology to push themselves away from the customer. You live in a day and age where customer service is a new idea. Take advantage of it. Bring those customers closer. Have better conversations with them. Oh, I'm only one person. Get another person and make it their job to be customer service and having conversations with with the people you're doing business with. Yet most businesses are spending 80% of their creative, innovative, profit-making, cash-building time dealing with customers that are pains in the ass that they should eliminate as being their customer in the first place, and should be spending 80% of their time on the customers who love them, who they did a great job for, who would go out and advocate for them, who would leave them a LinkedIn thing, would send them a video of recommendation, all of those things, right? You focus on that customer interaction, because that's the only time that your business grows, is when you are radically over delivering to the customer who hired you to solve a problem for them. That's the only time your business grows, is in those moments. And so you've got to be present in those moments. It doesn't have to be you. It could be a survey. It could be a customer service rep. It could be whatever. But it's in those moments when they go, oh my God, whatever I expected, you just over delivered. Also, flip that coin and understand that your business grows when you have that interaction and they go, oh my gosh, I'm having a terrible experience. It's way under what I expected to have. Also a great opportunity for you to learn and for you to grow your business if you take that and make sure that that doesn't happen again. But you got to be listening. Everybody's like, oh, my CRM and my automated this and my automated response over here. Nobody wants to be. Think about that. Your marriage, the people that you love, your mom, your dad, your kids. What if it was all automated between you and the people that you love the most? What if it was like, oh, I just, I'm sitting in my chair and I'm watching television. My wife walks through the door and an automated text message goes to her and says, hey, honey, how you doing? While I continue to stay focused on watching television. It's bullshit. Relationships, if you're small and mid-sized business, you are not a big business. You do not have the ability to be able, you can automate stuff that doesn't matter, but never automate your relationship to your customer. Never automate it, right? Automate the results that they get, but don't automate, leave open the magic of you being able to communicate with your customers and be able to high five them and be able to look at the wins that they're getting with your product and your service, be reaching out. How are we doing? How are we doing? How are we doing? Make them tell you, hey, stop contacting me. You have no idea how many times with our clients in whatever division that we're talking about, B2X, it's like, you know what? I know that we're going to be over communicated with. Right? We're going to be over communicated with any brand that has Cisneros attached to it. You're going to be over communicated with. So let them tell you, hey, you could back that down, right? I don't need to hear from you every 15 seconds. So anyway, very, very important aside for those of you that catch that. Could this be Starbucks challenge? It could be. There's big brands that have fallen. You can look at different brands, Sears and Kodak, and it happens. It happens. These guys that are playing this game are they're serious. They're serious. Starbucks still dominates in brand, culture, cafe footprint, premium valuation. They still dominate, but that doesn't mean that they're going to dominate forever. These guys came up and took second place by storm. Okay. So here's the takeaways from today's show. Exits are staged and nurtured over time. They're not spontaneous. We get a lot of people are like, they call us up and here's how it goes. Hey, Jason. Hey, Joe. Hey, Carlos. Hey, Emily. We want to sell our business. Oh, okay, cool. When are you thinking? Is next month soon enough? It doesn't, very rarely, I'm going to say never. It's not really our cut. Like if that's where you're at and you don't, and you listen to this and you still want to say you want to sell in a month, not probably our customer. There's a lot of business brokers out there that'll take your money, and make promises and then never deliver for you. That they're probably better for you. For us, we know that they're staged, right? We just proved that with what's been going on with JDE and their purposeful acquisitions and their exit to KDP, which was staged and methodical. Same thing with your exit, right? You need to methodically put yourself out there. Here's another fact and why this matters is because less than 7% of businesses that ever get put on the market ever sell. And of those 7% that do, about 50% of them fall apart post-acquisition. Huge numbers. It just means that whatever is being done out there right now, there is a buying frenzy. There's trillions of dollars in PE money that are waiting to buy businesses that are well built. But they're stuck in escrow accounts, which means that anybody that has access to them through private equity, they're rushing purchases. They're buying businesses that aren't well built, and it's not turning out super well. Okay. But it doesn't matter what the rest of the world is doing. If you do what methodically works over time, these people are the people I study. They're what I did when I finally got to a place where I could custom exit and custom tailor my own exit. Executed that back in 2019, huge exit, very successful. And since then we've had, smaller exits here and there, but I know that I know the blueprint now. I know it, I can stamp it and rubber stamp it. And we just are looking for, 500-600 people between now and the next 5 years who want to have a custom tailored exit, not to come to us and go, I know everything there is about my business, blah, blah, blah. No, people who are humble and they go, look, I don't know how to sell my business. Can you help us? Okay. That's it. Know your buyer's game in their buy box. Okay. No, you're one track, sell and kick ass in your marketplace for the customer that you fell in love with their outcome. Second track, be building that business for the person who you're going to sell it to. Very simple. Narrative drives value. You don't need to be number one to win, but you do need to. So narratives drive value. Again, let's pause on that just for a second. The narrative of your exit and having people waiting at the finish line, fighting over your business, driving the price up and making sure that you're going to get maximum value, whether that's all cash deal or a second bite of the apple or whatever it is. Knowing that your narrative is in place is going to drive that valuation up. How to build a narrative, that is a art and a science. Okay. You don't need to be number one to win, right? Peet's wasn't even on the market or really on the radar screen until some smart intellectual people came along and said, this is a play that will work with these other plays that we've made. You should be massively addicted to controlling the price, the timing, and the terms of your exit. And the only way that you can do that is by knowing every aspect of an exit. Learning a lot here. We've got programs at B2X if you need them. You can find other brokers that are out there. We're not the only ones. There's other consultants that are out there. We know what we're doing, but there are other people that can help you. We just would like to earn your business if you think we do, by giving away a lot of the stuff. Most people, I had a guy call me up the other day and he goes, Jason, how is your business model going to work with Built to Exit if you give away all the secrets on your podcast? And I was like, unlike other gurus, if nobody ever uses Built to Exit, I'm fine. Like we have other businesses. This is really here. As my life has demonstrated, we're really here as a sell side advocate. If business owners want help, need help, I wanted to have and build a solution for them, because I know the environment out there. I know how many landmines, I know how many fakes, I know how many criminals, I know how many, all of those things that are out there. If there ever comes a point when somebody else is doing this better than us, or we're not needed, c'est la vie. I'll go do other stuff. But until then, we're the number one brand. Okay. So share this with people. Did I miss anything? Okay, cool. So just the wrap up slide. And my team, my production team, they do a really good job, because sometimes, as you can tell, I can go off the track a little bit. But the same principles that took Berkeley Coffee Shop to $18 billion, $18 billion deal is same one you can use in your business. That's the point, right? Thank you for being here for the show. Thank you for learning these tactics. Always, 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 if you're interested in this stuff and a nerd like I am on these business deals, dig into the deals that I present, and you'll learn stuff, because you're in a different place than I am. Your mind, might absorb something a little bit differently, but the information, especially on IPOs and publicly traded, there's a wealth of knowledge that can educate you about how to think about business. How are these acquisitions being thought about? How is the business deal looking? How does it look when you're looking 5 years down the road? Core decision, core takeaway for you today is that the better you get your company optimized, predictable cash flow, predictable finances, and having a management team that doesn't require you, the more that frees you up to stretch out into the future, your decision making. Instead of it being firefighting, go to bed stressed, wake up stressed, work all day stressed, go to bed stressed, you start to further that out. You go, oh, okay, we've got a week's worth of revenue, we've got a month, we've got 6 months, we've got a year. It just changes the level of intensity emotionally, raises your intellect, and raises your ability to be able to get to a place where you yourself can help you and your business, your family, exit your business with the price, timing, and terms of your choice. I went a little longer than I expected today. Thank you so much for hanging with me on this subject. I know sometimes these get a little bit deep and a little bit overwhelming, but look at it like it's a game. The more you learn, if you even take one takeaway from this, you are better off than when you started. And that's all I can hope for. That's the only reason I'm here, is that I want you to walk away a little better off than before you spent time with me. Okay. If you like this content, if you want to send it to somebody who can utilize it, please do. That's how this is growing. Like I said earlier, we're not spending a ton of money on advertising, because I don't think there's a shitload of people that are out there that really should be listening to me. And if they did listen to me, they would find a way to make it somebody else's fault, or think that they know it all. I'm looking for people that genuinely want to transform their life by $15 to $30 million sale of their business. That's life-changing. And there's ways that you can do it with almost any product, service, or business that you have. It does take a different shift in mindset, and that's who I'm looking for. So share this if you know somebody like that, that needs to hear from us, needs to have a conversation with us. Also, we've got a great system where if you know somebody, you refer them over for us for business, you can get paid. So reach out on the Built to Exit .biz website or the jasoncisneros.com website. Reach out to us if you want to be an affiliate. We've got some people making really good money, not because they own a business, but because they know business owners, and they're taking us in and they're making money on those relationships. So also, I'll close out with, if you are a consultant and you want to come get certified in the B2X ways, our next certification is going to be in February, but we are, I think, we have 20 seats, and 9 of them are already gone. So if you're interested in getting certified, let us know that as well. I'm Jason Cisneros. I hope you have an amazing week. I hope you take one thing and modify it in your business and keep track of how that improves things. The next couple weeks, I'll be in New Jersey, starting next week. I'll be there for 3 or 4 days. The week after that, I'll be in Austin, Texas at DealCon, dealcon.com. You can go to my socials and see there if you still want to get a ticket. I think there's 3 or 4 seats left in that room. If you're serious about selling your business or being an acquisitions person, that is a great room to be in. And then the week after that, the week after that, I'll be back there for XYPN and then over to Houston, Texas for Mach 5. Would love to see you in person. Would love to give you a hug. Love to give you a high five. Thank you so much for spending part of your Saturday with me. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your trust. And for all of us at Built to Exit, we wish you very, very good luck over the next 7 days until we see you again at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same bat channel, same bat place. I'll see you later. Thanks.